How's everyone doing? I'm Dusty. I got good buddy Dale Altman with me today from Bengals&Brews. How we doing, Dale?
What's up? Oh, I'm doing great.
Bro?
I'm just, it's late on a Friday night, and I'm enjoying my life.
Dude, same here, man. I got in a little late. Me and my buddy was going to do a little fishing. I was playing with my daughter and got the yard cleaned up and was like, hey, it's a nice evening. Let's go fish. So we did that, and I got bored and talked to Dale for the first time in a hot minute and decided, hey, let's do a show.
Dude, you're one of my dudes. You know that. So anytime you're like, hey, let's pop on to a show, let's do it. I'm like, if I'm awake, if I'm allowed, if the wife lets me, I'm in. Let's go.
Dude, I feel you.
Man, we got a game next Sunday, Dusty.
Bro, how crazy is that? Now, I love fall time hunting and football. It's my favorite time of the year, but it's just gone by so quick. I feel like I blinked my eye and like the draft was there, the free agency, everything went by so quick.
Is that true?
Dusty looks like he could pack an M60 at any time. Well, I don't even know what that means. What's that mean, Daryl?
Thing, right? I assume that's a military thing.
Ross, what's that mean? I could pack an M60 at any time. I don't know. Maybe
I'm just going to say, hell yeah, I could. Look at him. It's a beast.
Dude, I'll pack some stuff, brother.
Some stuff.
Let's do it, Ross. I don't even know what that means, but enlighten me. But yeah, bro, it's gone quick. Did you went to the preseason, the home opener game?
Yeah. We only stay till about halftime. I usually take Miley. It's been a little tradition for the last 3 or 4 years, and because it gets a little rowdy. I don't know if you know this, but during the regular season, it gets a little rowdy.
Oh yeah, it does. Yep.
But we met up with Derek halfway. He took his son Declan. Also, the only time he usually brings him. So, him and my daughter Miley, and we went to the game, and we got to see Joe Burrow lead us to a touchdown drive.
Dude, that's true. That was a nice opening drive. Like, the team needed that. If you're going to play your starters, that's how you want to look.
Are we going to play all our starters next Sunday? Let's just go. Let's just go right off the top rope, because I know that you have some stuff to say about this.
Did you read my comment on your show earlier today? Is that where you're getting this from?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, earlier today, for you guys listening, go back and listen to the Bengals&Brews. But I left a comment that said, supposedly we're sitting all of our starters until the playoffs. Was I joking? Maybe. Probably. I think I was, but maybe
is there one an Uno even an Uno?
Dude, I don't know. I'm my thoughts with the whole Uno thing. Like, it is becoming a distraction, right? Like, we want Jamar out there. We want him practicing.
I want him out there next Sunday.
Dale, now let's think of this. The whole plan when you draft him, you want him to be better than what you expect. And you're picking him at 5 overall. So you're thinking he's going to be AJ Green. He's going to be a top-notch, like top
number 1 receiver in this class. You didn't take Penasul, who already got his extension, if we want to go that route.
Yeah. So, yeah, Penasul, who was the guy that a lot of people wanted. That was a huge debate. But the plan all along should have been that we're going to pay Jamar. Like, You're going to pay Joe. You're going to pay Jamar. You want these guys.
Is that not why we didn't extend T. Higgins yet, or not going to ultimately?
Bro, you're trying to get me worked up. I can see what you're doing.
Oh, I'm getting you worked up, baby.
I know. Man, exactly.
It's working. It's working. I can feel it.
He can see the wheels turning. My face is probably getting red. But yeah, the whole situation just bugs me, because it's like the whole plan with not extending T and Jesse Bates was to open up money for Joe and Jamar. In my opinion, that's what it was. Now, why? I want to know what Dale thinks. What is the reason that we would not sign Jamar right now. Just get it done, get it out of the way. No distractions, go into camp. Everything's good. Him and Joe are on the same page. What do you think the reason is that? Like next year, it's not going to get cheaper. Like it's not going to change any. So why not just pay him and get it done? If that should have been the plan all along. When you drafted him, you should have known, hey, we're going to pay this dude some money.
All right, I'm the Bengals. I'm the front office because I always try to look at things from every side. And I say that on the show. It's like a lot of times people think I'm just being an asshole, which I mean, an a-hole, which I am.
Say what you want, bud. It's a late night show. It's after 8.
That's fair. Yeah. Fuck yeah. But anyways, so like the Bengals are looking at it like you're under contract for 2 more years. And then we could honestly, like we did T. Higgins, franchise you the next year and the year after. Like they're looking at it like we've got you under contract. Jamar is probably looking at it like every top 5 to 10 receiver in the NFL just got paid this offseason, whether they were part of his draft class or not. So, like a year before him, Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, top of the market, 35 and 34 AAV averages for those guys. But guys like Jalen Waddle, guys like Devontae Smith, that was in his same draft class, went ahead and their teams extended them. But they're extending them with number 2 wide receiver money.
Mm-hmm.
And he don't want that. He wants to be above Jamar Chase, whether it's 1 penny, as the chop shop says. And
Jamar, or you mean Justin Jefferson?
Yeah. To beat Justin Jefferson. Thank you. Yeah, I've had a few beverages.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, wait, what are we talking about again? All right. I remember.
But Jamar wants 1 more penny. That's what's reported. Who knows what he wants? It was also reported he wanted $20 million more on his extension. And I was like, that's $5 million per year more over the 4 years. Yes, there's an extra year and you can average it however you want. But at the end of the day, the Bengals look at it like money we got to pay out. Guaranteed money comes out of the escrow account. Do they have this much money? They're already spent out of that for Joe Burrow last year. Either way, they want Jamar Chase. It's just they want it on their timeline. And Jamar wants it on his timeline. And if he's not at practice Monday, it's a problem. So I'm still in the camp of it's not a problem right now. But if Monday comes and he's not out at practice for game week prep for Sunday, that probably means he's missing the week 1 game against the Patriots in the jungle for the orange out that he was in all the pictures for. He's probably missing that game. And Jamar Chase missing a game is not good for the Bengals. Like, you might still win the game, but that is not what anybody wants. And that shouldn't be what you want, right? Like, you should
I don't want that. My fantasy team's going to suffer a good bit right there. So I don't want that at all. So selfishly for a fantasy league, no, I don't want that. But for the team, even if they win, you just want to see your star players out there, especially week 1, where we've struggled, right? Like we've struggled week 1 for pretty much the whole Joe Burrow era with getting that win and starting from behind. But I just think if Jamar's deal was going to be done, what's the point in waiting? Let's just get it done. Let's get it out of the way. I understand like you got crunch numbers and all this, but this should have been something that was being planned year after year. I mean, year 1, we went to the Super Bowl. Like they should have been like, okay, this guy is.
He was a big part of it. He was a big part of it.
He was huge. He was the most explosive player. Like, obviously, this dude's going to want to get paid, and you want him to play better. Like, you're going to want him to build that next year and be better and better and better. Like, most players, when they come into their prime, like 26, 25, probably 25. Like, so you want to lock Jamar down for his prime, but not only that, he's performed. He's done it. He showed it. So let's go ahead and do it. Who's calling me?
It's not me.
Ignore. I don't know who it is. But
probably your wife. And she's like, hey, why are you yelling downstairs?
Yeah, Dale's got me all worked up. But I just don't see.
Explain me.
If you're going to pay him next year, why not just pay it and get the distractions out of the way? Let the team go. So I don't know. Like that's the part that frustrates me. And I'm a big T guy. and I want to see T here. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. But if you're not paying T, you didn't pay Jesse Bates. There's this whole thing with like the Bengals were homegrown style team where they draft, they develop, they sign. And that just doesn't seem the case anymore.
But, and to give T his credit, we all thought it would play out with T when they didn't extend him. Exactly how it played out with Bates, where he held out, didn't hardly practice, wasn't in camp for preseason games really. And then, hey, I'm here week 1 because I'm that dude. And then he got his contract and balled out.
Mm-hmm.
To T. Higgins' credit, he's been there. He played in that first game. He got that touchdown from Joe Burrow on that first drive in that first preseason game. And he looks great. And he has every reason to look great because he knows I'm the top money guy on the open market next year.
Yeah, he's going to get paid.
It's me and Stephon Diggs, and you know what? It's not Stephon Diggs. Nobody's paying Stephon Diggs more than T. Higgins. Number 1, he's older. Number 2, Stephon Diggs.
Drama.
That is issues. That's why the Texans were able to get him for what they got him for 1 season.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It does give you wings, baby.
I just personally would love to have just the Bengals take that next step, right? Like, we know they've definitely progressed in the past few years, and it almost feels like we're being nitpicky, but the thought of like regressing, like we don't want to regress. We want to keep climbing and building and get that Super Bowl.
Not even regressing. How about we win the first game of the season we haven't done in 3 or 4 years? How about we get off to a fast start? Because we played 3 of the 4 teams that had the first 3 picks in the draft. The only one is week 2 against Kansas City, who won the Super Bowl on the road. That'll be a tough game no matter what. But we play New England. We play Carolina. We play Washington. They had the top 3 picks. Carolina had traded their picks, so Chicago had the pick, and they drafted Caleb Williams. But in the draft order, those 3 teams, at minimum, we should be 3-1. And having to think our number 1 receiver isn't going to be out there if he doesn't practice Monday. I want to always say that. But if he doesn't practice, it's like, fuck, are you kidding me? Joe Burrow finally had a healthy camp. He's the healthiest he's been. He made it through camp. There's not been an injury during camp. Knock on wood. Knock on myself. Whatever. And it just sucks that this is even a conversation right now with the game a week and a day away. 8 days.
Yeah, 8 days, man. And Ross says T is tough. And T is tough, bro. Like, T has played through things. And when Jamar was out, what was it, when they played in New Orleans, in Jamar, I believe it was in New Orleans where he got hurt.
Pittsburgh, man. Was
it when he came back?
There's been a few times, but I remember when Jamar was completely out, and that Pittsburgh game on the road against Pittsburgh a couple years ago, and Jamar was just dominant. T was just dominant. And he's done that even, against Minnesota.
Yep.
Last year.
Time and time again, T has proven himself. I'm just saying, next year, now if the Bengals win a Super Bowl, that is obviously the goal. I think after that, everything's going to be forgiven for the next 5 years, and then we're going to.
If we win a Super Bowl, I'll just come on here every day and be like, Chiefs. I might do what Chiefs fans do and just go on Twitter and be like, "Hey, here's my nutsack. How do you like it?"
Dude, yeah,
I just take pictures of my nutsack and post them on Twitter until I get banned.
I look forward to that. But if they, let's say they don't win a Super Bowl, and next year T's gone. That's a big hole. That's a hole that a lot of people I just don't think they realize. Like, if Jamar goes down, that is a problem. And now we have these contract problems and all this. I don't know. I wish Jamar wasn't being kind of a diva about it. And I think I do like that he's at least going to practice. He's not playing or he's not practicing and stuff, but he's there supporting his guys, and everyone's being supportive of him. But I think we all know everybody wants him there. Like, they're not going to say it. they're going to say what's politically correct. They're going to be PC about it.
Good teammate, right? Or you're trying to be a good teammate if you're a teammate and you're asked that question.
Yeah. You're being a pal. You're being a buddy. Like, you're not going to throw your dude under the bus. You're going to sit there and say, you're going to say the right things because you understand what it's like when you're talking about money. You don't want to talk about someone else's money. But they want him there. If they were lying, they want him there. They're just not going to throw him under the bus. So hopefully the distraction isn't continued and we can make it work. Because if he misses week 1, how much money is that? I think it's like $400,000 fine. It's something. It's pretty. Like, how long is he going to do it?
It's a drop in the bucket when you're trying to make $140 million, though.
Oh yeah. It is. Like, I understand it, but just for the season and everybody involved, like, it's just. Well, I don't think Jamar cares about the money.
It's not going to go this season. The only thing, and I said it for months on Bengals and Brews. Shout out Bengals and Brews. It's a show I do with Pork Chop and Greg and Derek. Shameless plug. But it's like, if this goes to game week prep, then the way I feel about this changes.
Yes.
Because he does have 2 years on his contract. Would I love to see the Bengals get the extension? Because there's usually an 8.5% increase regardless of contract. And I do say the top of the market set with all these receivers. But at the same point, the standard 8.5 increase, I want to be the next guy up the following season. Then he would make $14 million more over the life of his contract if that happens. And the Bengals are probably like, hey, we just want to see you go out and ball out and worry about this a year from now. And maybe it has to do with the escrow and the money. I don't know. I'm not in the Bengals front office. I should be, though. I would bring the Miller Lite. It would be much more lighter and fun.
I feel like if you could toss a couple fans in there into the Bengals office, we might do pretty good. Honestly, I really think
we all know everything as fans.
We know, we know so much. Like, that's what our lives are dedicated to. Just like these guys, we just don't get paid for it. But yeah, bro,
I did think they put Zach in a bad situation to keep on the Jamar thing, and then we should talk about all the other things because there's so many good things to talk about.
Yeah,
but they put Zach in a bad situation. Jamar practices a couple days with no media, and they were light practices, waiting on the 53 to set and this, that, and the other. They don't want to put these guys who ain't even going to be on the team through the ringer in a tough practice. And I respect that. Zach's always like thinking if he was in their shoes, because he has been in their shoes. He's been cut coming out of Nebraska and been in camp. But Jamar practiced those couple days, and clearly there was an understanding. He had defended him the whole time, said, this is part of our plan. This is part of our plan. And as it went on, it's like, this is definitely not rest days part of any plan. This is a hold in. It's a hold in. He's there. So I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah. Well, remember AJ Green when he talked about the ankle, and he's like, oh, week to week and day to day. And then that kind of didn't end well for him because that wasn't the greatest look. So I thought he learned then. It seemed like he did. And I understand what you're saying. Like,
Jamar, if you listen to Schefter, he should just fake an injury, right? That like POS, I said, because I'm not going to cuss.
Yeah, that dude, man, whatever. Haters are going to hate, right? Like, you're going to do what you're going to do. But overall, like, I feel bad for Zach. Like you said on your show earlier, shout out again to Bengals and Brews. If you didn't listen to it earlier, Dale basically said, and I'll summarize it, that without having a GM, Zach's out there, talking where really a GM should be speaking, and kind of throwing Zach under the bus, in which Zach's trying to do the right thing. He's got a lot of stuff to manage. He's got a whole team to manage. He's got week 1 coming up. He's got cuts that are coming down, what players, he's pushing a lot of stuff out and getting asked these questions about, oh, what about Jamar? Well, it just not ideal. It's not ideal questions for a head coach to answer. That should be something where at least Duke should be out there being available for these questions, where Zach he could just refer, oh,
With the 49ers, it was always John Lynch. They're not putting their head coach. You never saw anything from their head coach because, or not much if he did, because they're not putting him in that situation. And Zach, he made a joke, and I thought that was great. Of like, oh, did I say that? But in his mind, it's like, hey, I've defended this guy. Hey, he's out here. He says he's going to be out here, but then Jamar and his agent, whatever happened, it's money thing, and they try to stay out of the money, but it made Zach look like an idiot, and he shouldn't have been in that position to even make it look like that. And as Bengals fans, we know, like, I think we're all smart enough to know, like, Zach got put in his shitty position because the front office and the de facto GM didn't want to come and be the ones answering these questions.
Yeah, and Schefter got mad, man, when he just looked so stupid. He got looked so stupid and just got mad about it. It's like, bro, you just got put in your place, like, deal with it. But the hate the Bengals get it's unfair. Like,
it always is, but
yeah, Jamar still got 2 years on his deal, and I don't want to call Jamar prima donna, but I would love for the Bengals just to get the deal done. He's in the long-term plans. You would hope, you would imagine. He's
not going anywhere.
Yeah. So in my thoughts, why not just get it done, get knocked out? I don't know. I just don't know how far off they are on the numbers. Like, how far off do you have to be on these numbers that you can't just get it done? Because next year it's going to go up. Yesterday's price isn't today's price.
That's things as fans that we just don't know, and that's why it's very hard to speak on. Like, the one thing I can speak on is I want him to be out there next Sunday. Whether the Bengals give him an extension, he says, hey, we'll work this out next year. Whatever it is, I want him out there next Sunday because he is an incredible player that will be a Cincinnati Bengal for a long time. But it sucks. It sucks that this is the conversation instead of this is our destiny year.
Supposed to be.
Super Bowl. Where's the Super Bowl at?
Give me that ring.
The Super Bowl is in the Superdome in New Orleans. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase won a national championship. LSU guys, come on. Super Bowl. This is it. This is the time. Let me drop my nutsack on the Chiefs fans.
Yeah, hope that would be beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
And they don't three-peat because Roger Goodell is salivating over the fact that a three-peat. Oh, three-peat. I'm not even going to suspend Rashee Rice. They're suspending everybody in the damn league for anything they've ever done. Oh, man, you tripped a kid when you were in kindergarten. You're suspended a game. Rashee Rice, you tried to murder people out on the street. And R.I.P. Johnny Gaudreau. But Rashee Rice, you're out here doing this shit. We ain't going to fucking suspend. Sorry, I said the F word. Fuck.
You're right.
We ain't going to suspend you. That's messed up to me. Like,
well, yeah. Like,
the court process. They don't wait on the court process for all this other stuff.
Yeah. It's just that seemed very, very biased to not get. I'm in a group chat with a lot of my Army buddies, and we're all about split between Bengals. There's, I think, 12 people in this group chat, and we're all split between like Bengals and Browns fans. In everybody, like, it was
still hates the Chiefs. Yeah,
it was just over the board. Like, oh, this is crazy that he doesn't get anything, nothing. Oh, he's just open to play. I don't know, man. That's unreal. But there is some.
I like things. Will's comment here, though. Like, not to go back to Chase, but that is at the end of the day, and you hate to say too much because Jamar's going to be here. But yeah. I'm a Bengals fan. I'm not a player fan. I'm not supporting this team. And thank God for Joe Burrow because he just made it more fun to be a Bengals fan. But at the end of the day, if Joe Burrow is not on this team, I like last year, I am rooting for Jake Browning. I am rooting for, hey, let's do something crazy and surprise everybody. And then we almost made the playoffs, because we have a hell of a team.
Yep. Well, that's the thing, dude. Like, the times change. Like, you had how the Andy Dalton and AJ Green era was. Like, the time started to change where we wanted somebody more than Andy. and then we got it with Joe, and it's great. But regardless, winning fixes everything. At the end of the day, if you win games, you're more than likely going to become the fan of the guy, unless he's like just a complete like dirtball. There's some
Deshaun Watson type. Basically.
Yeah, yep. If
that's
he's
for your group chat, unless he's a Deshaun Watson type.
Yep, unless
no one can root for him.
Yep, unless it's something like that, and then it's like, well, I support the team, I don't support this guy, but you want him to win regardless. And that's how it was last year. I said the same thing, like I don't care, and I think I said it maybe during when you had your little what was it, your draft show, maybe. I was like, I don't care really who's starting or who's playing. I don't know if it was on that show. I just remember saying it to you at some point.
Sounds good to me. Yeah, I don't fucking know. I'm 18 beers deep.
As long as the Bengals win, bro, I don't care. Like if they win a Super Bowl it
I don't care if Dave Lapham has to take the last snap straight out the booth.
Dude, bring him down, but let him suit up, snap the ball, do what he's got to do. It doesn't matter to me. What do you think about Mims? What was your thoughts? I'm very curious about this. What your thoughts on Amarius Mims was when he only played week 1 or preseason game 1, but I thought he looked good. How do you feel about him? Are you happy?
He did. And I have to go back to the draft, and we had this talk in the draft. And I know he's like, well, I've only had these 2 injuries, but he just didn't have a ton of snaps. So getting injured kind of hurts because it's like, hey, man, but I do think he has elite talent. And that was never in question. Said it during draft season. Never in question that he has elite talent. It's just, can this man stay on the field? Because you need that, especially offensive line. They need chemistry. I just want to see him play more. I want to see him play more in preseason because I do think he would have, because I do think Trent Brown is still going to have the starting role, whether Mims would have played the whole preseason or not. But that doesn't mean that Trent Brown, no matter what, if he's fully healthy, will have the starting role 4 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Because Mims is that dude, man.
Yeah. I think that's what everyone thought. But I think everybody from the rip kind of thought that Trent Brown was going to be that week 1 starter, right? Like, I think that's what most people thought.
But people were a little stressed. He wasn't practicing this, that, and the other. But it's like, as Chop said, I don't care if he comes out there ripping a heater like Big Show in WWE back in the day. It doesn't matter. Dude knows what he's doing. He's been there. He's done that. Like, he's a Pro Bowl type of talent. His PFF grades speak for itself. Like, dude's constantly 80s, 90s. And if you don't know, PFF for the Bengals, we take 60s a lot of weeks in previous years.
Yeah. What about, so Trent Brown, obviously he's going to be the week 1 starter right now. The overall offensive line, how do you feel about it? Because Alex Kappa, I've seen a little bit of hate on Alex Kappa, and even in the preseason, I think it was week 1 or whatever, preseason game 1, didn't maybe look as good as we wanted. Do you think he's going to get that together? Or do you think I just don't think he's fallen off. I don't know if he's lost his edge a little bit, or what do you think was going on with Kappa?
I don't worry about Kappa too much, but I do like the depth. The only problem is, and this is no knock on Cody Ford, but I think what I saw out of Matt Lee, which is a backup center, he hasn't really played guard, especially for the Bengals. He did play early in his career when he was at UCF before he transferred to Miami. But I think Jackson Kirkland, who they had at guard, and then they put him at left tackle, and then they put him at right tackle. Every game he played somewhere different. He looked amazing, and I liked him coming out of Washington. He was just always injured. It was
that was his big thing, right? Wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was supposed to be a high-end draft pick.
Yes, he was a highly recruited. After like his freshman season at Washington, everybody thought he was a future first-round pick, and then he dealt with a lot of injuries. But they got him as an undrafted guy, kept him on the practice squad all last year. I thought he looked great, and to have that versatility is amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what this kid could be. I know
Mims did play next to Kappa, by the way, for the preseason game. Like Kappa and Mims. Kappa was right guard. Mims was the right tackle for preseason game 1.
Yeah, week 1.
But yeah, last year was Jonah Williams, and shit, the Arizona fans are not happy with him. And I always liked Jonah Williams, but motherfucker probably should have. MFer probably should have slid in to the inside of him in a guard or a center, ultimately, which a lot of people rejected him.
Okay, what's your thoughts on Jackson Carman? So Jackson Carman's released finally. I think a lot of Bengals fans would want that to happen. But
hallelujah. No.
The dude from the Chiefs end up drafting right after. Why am I forgetting his name? Starts with a C.
Creed Humphrey, the center.
Creed Humphrey. So he was sitting right there. Now he's the highest paid highest paid center in NFL history. And the Bengals,
we would have never had Ted Karras. We might have had a Super Bowl, but we would have never had Ted Karras. And I say I want a Super Bowl above anything, but by God, my life wouldn't be as great without Ted Karras. Ted Karras is a great human, number one.
And but what we paid?
But Ted, I wanted Sam Cosmi that year, if I'm being honest, out of Texas. And he's been a pretty good guard. I think for Washington, that's at least who drafted him. And he was a tackle at Texas. I wanted him over Carman. Like, I had Carman a whole round later, but the Bengals traded back, and even if they didn't trade back, they said they were set on Carman, is what we all heard afterward. It's just a bad evaluation. This man has not even been picked up for another practice squad. Yeah. And no hate, like I said earlier, I wish the best for him. I hope he does well. But it was time. It was time. Your time with the Cincinnati Bengals. Maybe being your hometown team, it was too much. But you got to go. Sometimes you just got to go.
Yeah, it was his time for sure. It was for sure. So we talked about wide receiver a good bit. Who do you think the wide receiver 3 is going to be? Because I feel like we got. You think it's going to be Yoshi?
Oh, to start the season. And I mean, if Jamar don't play, I think it'll probably be Trenton Irwin, the starter. But I think that's when Jermaine Burton. If Chase isn't active, that's when Jermaine Burton could make his mark. Is that week 1? Because he's an outside guy. Like, he's an outside receiver. He's just not a slot receiver. But Yoshi has earned his spot. That's why he didn't play after that first game. He did not play in either of the 2 games. He's only a second-round guy, a 6th-round pick. Yoshi is gonna have a big role in this team.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, and he's looked good. Like, he's looked pretty good.
Greg thinks he looks real good.
I would have liked, Dale does, or Greg does, but I just wish that we could see more of like Charlie Jones. Obviously, he got hurt. It'd been nice to see more of Charlie Jones. It would have been nice to see more of Jermaine Burton.
Good kick return for Charlie Jones in that last preseason game when he was back healthy and able to play. So
Kevin says, "Hey Dale."
Yeah, I went.
What's up, Kevin?
Kevin's the man, man. It's hard for me, Kevin, right now, because that Johnny Gaudreau stuff is still very fresh and it really hurt me. It's the only Blue Jackets jersey I own. It's very sad.
So, what about Trenton Irwin? Do you think Trenton Irwin's going to be the old reliable?
He's a pro.
I think he's going to be that wide receiver 3 right now. I think it's going to be T.I. And then I think
probably has a good point. Like, even if Chase, Higgins, and Yoshi's out there, go ahead, read it.
I was just going to say Burton is going to be the go-to guy, just like Chris Henry was. That's what this industry says.
For the go route. Yeah. Like, send him deep, dude. The dude has unbelievable ball skills, good speed. But, like, if it's a 50-50 ball, kind of like with T. Higgins, Jermaine Burton, it's not 50-50. It's 75-20. It's 80-20, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
he's going to get it, and I love that. Like, it's another weapon. That's why I want to see all the weapons, all of them.
Yeah, I do too. I want to see us be creative, use our guys to their strengths, and make the most of it. I think Chris Evans was kind of the big, just in recent years, a guy that we didn't use to his strengths, and we didn't see, the potential, like the full potential. I feel like there was different times that we could have used him, just in just I'm not even saying specialty packages, but there was a couple wheel routes that he ran. He had the one touchdown, I think, against the Chiefs, maybe.
Yep, Chiefs. We were losing fourth quarter. Makes that clutch catch. You had him lined up in basically the slot.
I'm not sure. I'm trying to think who it was that we played, but we put him on this wheel route, and Joe just kind of slightly overthrew him. But that would have been a huge play too. I
will say I think that was one of those things, and also like the timing and if you're talking about the one that was completed, that was preseason against the Lions.
No, it was incomplete. It was an incomplete pass that Joe he just slightly overthrew him.
That was always the whole. That was always the whole thing. Was like he's not always where, and he didn't have Joe's trust, and that's my only concern with Burton is because we're hearing a little similar things, and we saw how it played out with Evans. Burton's a much higher draft pick, much more talented, but it's like I just think he needs to be in a game with him and earn that trust. As long as he's running the route that he's supposed to run, and Joe throws him the ball, there won't be a concern.
Lewis says Burton might be the next Darren Scott, or Darnay Scott. The Darnay Scott, I think, was probably a little faster. He was more of a speedster, right? Like, I don't know. What do you think?
No, I that's not a bad comparison. Yeah, you had some dogs at wide receiver like Carl Pickens, when Scott was there. I do think the talent has always been there for Burton. It's just how locked in are you going to be? And I'm not talking about the sleeping in meetings BS that was brought up on that third game broadcast.
Just out of nowhere.
I don't know where that came from.
That's the stupid shade that people do to the Bengals that make me mad too.
Well, Nick Saban didn't help his case. Nick Saban was part of the draft broadcast, and I know he said a lot of stuff. And that's the only reason. Like somebody was like, "How dare you throw shade on Nick Saban?" I'm like, I'm just not a fan of somebody crapping on a player that they trusted during the season, but then they want to crap on him after they retire and during this draft process for whatever reason.
Right. Like, how are you going to? So you're going to put this guy out there, you trust him to play, and then you're just going to throw shade on him during the draft. It just makes no sense. And it makes you think what was said behind closed doors when people were talking about him. Like, and how much do you value his opinion? Now, if he doesn't like somebody, like it's a biased opinion. If I don't like you and somebody asks me, "Oh, hey, Dusty, what do you think of this? What do you think of Dale?" And I'm going to say, "Oh, I love Dale." But like, if somebody else doesn't like Dale and they say, "Hey, what do you think of him?" or whatever, they might say something different. And it's like, well, it's just a biased opinion. You have to be smart enough. Nobody's going to say they don't like Dale. Look at him. Look at that guy. He's got the headband on. He's got the V-neck cut off, looking all sexy and whatnot. Dude, I can't do it.
Sunglasses, but
dude.
Those MFers, they don't like me.
Whatever, bro. You're gonna be the
probably won't even sleep tonight because you brought that up. Like, people don't like me. Like, oh my god,
dude. I know. I lose sleep over it too. I gotta wake up early, so it'll be whatever. I don't have to wake up too early. It's all right. So a couple people said, old Lewis said, I can't wait to see Eric All. What do you think of Eric All right now? Because I thought some of the videos I saw of him, he looked really stiff, and I don't know. I
think that was early in camp.
Yeah,
coming off an ACL, to be expected.
Right.
Talent's never the issue. When he was at Michigan, when he was at Iowa, he just got hurt a lot coming off of back surgery. When we spent the 4th round pick on him, I'm like, once again, talent not the issue. It's other things but I would much rather swing for the fences on talent and be like, boom or bust, screw it, we're doing it, than just taking a guy.
4th round.
Then just taking a guy that's like, oh man, he's Jackson Carmen. I mean, just in general. And maybe he's not that good. Doesn't matter how many positions you try him at, he's just not that good. Tyler Shelvin. Why did we spend a 4th round pick on him? I feel pretty good about Eric Cole. I think he's going to be fine. He just has to stay healthy. And I love what the Bengals are doing. They put him in motion when he's coming to block. That will get you on the field. That will get you on the field when you're out there pancaking dudes in motion, and they can do that. And then you can also be like, oh, I faked that, and hey, I'm open on a 4th and 1. I see
Would
big
you
things
say
for his
he's a
future.
good?
He's got to stay healthy.
Would you say he's a good in between like a Mike Gesicki and Sample? I think because he's
an all-around tight end, right? That's what you ultimately want. The Bengals have kind of been stuck with one or the other. You're a blocking guy, you're a pass catching guy. A real tight end, what you really want from a tight end is a guy who can do it all, because every play you don't know what they're a George Kittle, you know?
Yeah. That's why everyone says George Kittle's the best tight end in the league. Everyone wants to talk about Travis Kelce because his numbers are a little different. But George Kittle is he is a do-it-all guy, just like you said. And Eric All, like, I was excited about the pick. I liked the Eric All pick. I didn't like, the injury history, but I wasn't upset with it. The only thing is when I saw like kind of his stiffness, I was wondering if they were bringing him back a little too soon in rushing it, because I didn't think
he's going to get injured again.
Yeah. I was kind of like, why I didn't like seeing it. I wish they maybe would have gave him a little more time. If I'm just being honest, like, I think a little more time for him would have been good. That's just right now. Who knows? I'm not a trainer. I don't know where he's at. Maybe he just needed to get out there. But I thought he looked very stiff, and I wouldn't say frail. Frail sounds like a harsh word, but like he seemed just tight, like just too tight.
I will say because I seen it, some clips like that from practice when he was first starting out, but like in the games, in the preseason games, and shout out Mike Sands and everybody, Joe Goodberry, everybody that clips up that stuff, because it takes a lot of time. I've done it. I don't want to do it. But shout out for them for doing it and getting to see like this guy. I thought he's moving a lot better, and that's probably just coming off that injury. So I will say I feel a lot more comfortable after I seen him in the last, preseason game, especially.
Chop says Eric All gets me stiff, Dusty. Chop, where you at, man? What's
Chop's
doing?
actually at work.
Is he working?
Yeah,
dude. I feel you. I've been working. Guy. This summer has been crazy, bro. I've been working it's been crazy. It's been busy. Been going all over the states.
You buried the lead, Aaron Butler. I don't even know who you are, but shout out Aaron Butler. When does Dale's new Mel Mundell job start? I don't know, but I'm open for business. Wow, that sounded really
Hey, if you haven't checked his OnlyFans out, it's what is it? OF_Dale_Altman _9. I believe that's what it is.
Don't forget the 6.
Oh yeah, my bad. Excuse me. There it is.
But shout out Aaron Butler. Just made my night. I'm probably gonna jerk it after that. I mean, do things to myself after this.
Whatever, bro. The headband, bro. What's going on with the headband? It doesn't go all the way back. I just noticed that. I always thought you were wearing one of the like rags that went all the way back. It's just.
You see how this shirt don't have sleeves?
It's a t-shirt, ain't it?
These are my sleeves. I have like 100 of these things because it's hot in the garage in the summer when I'm doing stuff, and I cut the sleeves out and I use them as headbands. Do I have to buy $20 headbands? No. I just cut the sleeves out of shirts.
See, you know what my problem is? My problem is my arms aren't as big as my head. So I need to get bigger arms to get my sleeves to fit on my head.
Or tighter shirts. Tighter shirts.
Well, my shirt, that's the problem. My shirts are too tight. My head's too big. My arms are too small. I need bigger shirts. Think about it.
There's a lot.
Think about it. The head's too big. The head's too big. So
you can't put. It's a shirt, man. You can stretch a shirt. I stretch it too much.
You don't think it would rip? It might rip. I don't know. It doesn't matter. What do we think about the defensive line? We've had a lot of injuries down there. Are you feeling? I feel like week 1 is going to be a test with Stevenson. He's a pretty solid running back. The Patriots normally have a pretty decent offensive line.
And they have not during the preseason, but
normally have a decent offensive line. What do you think? You think our D line's going to hold up? Because they're not.
I think that's the key to the game. Like, I ain't trying to give stuff away, but on Bengals and Brews, that's probably the key to the game, right? Is the Bengals run defense versus the Patriots running game. We will win or lose the game on how well we can contain the run. And we don't have DJ Reader anymore. McKinley Jackson's on IR. Miles Murphy, I know he's a rotational defensive end right now, former first-round pick that you were high on.
Wait, who'd you say?
Miles Murphy.
Oh, Miles. I thought you said
we don't have for 4 weeks. McKinley Jackson, who was going to be the nose tackle, kind of replacing some of the DJ Reader. But we do have Chris Jenkins, Sheldon Rankins, BJ Hill. It's just going to have to be by committee, Jay Tufele. Guys like that are going to have to step up at defensive tackle. Zach Carter, I'm not even going to mention because, well, he's shown me nothing yet. So if we're relying on him in week 1, that's where I'm concerned. It's going to be our run defense versus their running game because I think we have an advantage on paper everywhere else. And I don't know if we have an advantage there. We might have an advantage there. Maybe our D tackles all rally. Maybe our whole defense. Linebackers. Our linebacker play was weak last year, but I think Logan Wilson was trying to call the defense. He don't have to call the defense this year. There's this guy back, and his name is Von Bell.
Give it to him. Two.
Von Bell. Ring your bell. KBR. Shout out KBR. But Von Bell, man, leading the defense. And I love Jordan Battle. Love him. And I was like, man, I don't even know if I love picking up Von Bell again because I want to see Jordan Battle ball out with Geno Stone. But the more you hear and the more faith that Lou feels like he has a coach on the field like Von Bell gives me more confidence in this defense. And the corners are balling out. We have to talk about Dax Hill. I ain't going to lie. I was like, Dax Hill is not an outside corner. Not an outside corner. I like him at safety. I like him at slot corner. And I'm like, dude, this is a mistake putting him at outside corner. So far, we have not played one regular season game, but so far in practice and in preseason snaps that he's played, dude has looked incredible at outside corner. What are your thoughts on Dax Hill, to toss one back to you?
So, if you remember, when we first became friends a few years back, We're friends? Well, I guess not. It's been a while. I've been selfish and busy and haven't talked to my old buddy too much. But maybe I should rephrase. Back when we were friends, 3-4 years ago, whenever you started Bengals and Brews, Dax Hill was kind of the guy that I was eyeballing that was going to fall in that area, and I like Dax Hill. I did like him a lot, and so I really hope he does good. He's long, he's lengthy, DJ Turner is, in my opinion, not the ideal your number 2 cornerback. Just with his size,
fast as hell. They're both fast as hell.
Yeah, they're both super fast, and I would love. I'd love for them both to ball out. I don't care if they, like we said before, if they win, they win. But I like Dax Hill. I would love to see him really perform, take that step. He's super athletic. He's got the length. His arm length is there to where he can have makeup speed. If you remember, I'm trying to think what game it was. I think it was the AFC Championship game in 2022 against the Chiefs when we ended up losing. But it was there was a pass where the Chiefs scored a touchdown, and I think it was Mike Hilton. He was right there. He was in perfect coverage. He was just a little too small, and he couldn't knock the ball away. And if you go back and watch it, it ended up being a touchdown. That right there, if you have a guy that's just a little longer, like the athletic ability's there, but you can't take the size. Like if the size is gone, the size is gone. Like
yeah, but Hilton's still playing the slot. That's the thing. Like,
oh yeah, I love Hilton. I love but he's on his last year of his contract.
It might be Josh Newton playing the slot though in some packages. Just saying. Yeah. And he had an up and down preseason, but man, Josh Newton, that was a good 5th round pick.
It was. my thought on Newton was I remember being on your show and we were both big. I think you were big on TJ Tampa, right? I love TJ Tampa.
Well, he was gone at that point, like, but
wait, he went into
yeah,
four.
like to get a corner. Yes.
Yeah,
I'm with
but
you.
he was still almost available. So, TJ Tampa
trade up, go get him. He went to the Ravens.
Did he go to the Ravens? Yeah, I remember. I was mad. I don't know.
They got him and Wiggins at corner, and I don't know how he did in preseason. Like I didn't keep up with it because he's dead to me now.
I didn't either, but I really liked TJ Tampa. I remember me and you talked about TJ Tampa a good bit, and he was a guy that I watched him a lot at Iowa, and I was just like, man, this dude, I like him. I like his size. I like his athletic ability, and he just kept falling and falling and falling. And I think he was there in the late fourth round, and I would have loved for the Bengals to get him. Now Newton has played really well, so I'm not gonna. I wouldn't say really well. He's like you said.
They put all 10 draft picks. Like we were saying, hey, you got 10 draft picks, trade up.
Yeah,
they rostered them all, so they must think highly of them.
Could you imagine getting like? I would have just loved if they would have traded up and got TJ Tampa. I would have been really excited.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what? It might pan out. Like that's the thing about the draft. Like, and you know, I'm all into this. I 400-page document that I'll send to raise money for charity / I do it anyways. But it's literally like, and you do too. We just love the draft. We love the whole thing and hope springs eternal type stuff. But it is an inexact science, even for like the teams, for the experts, for this and that. You know, you could say Tom Brady, 6th round pick, TJ Houshmandzadeh, 7th round pick. You can do this constantly. Undrafted guys, Vontez Burfict, which Burfict was a 3rd round guy, but it had poor workout. But Muma, Zhong Meta, undrafted. Man, I'm high on him.
I like that guy.
Good transition, right?
I love. So if you want to talk about Jean Meta, I'm gonna grab me a beer if that's cool with you.
Oh, so I got.
You want to talk?
Yeah.
Or you want to take a 2-minute recess? We can take a 2 minute.
We can't do that on a live show.
Well,
Chop's
left.
Come in and talk.
Go to work. Chop had to go to work. We can keep the chat going. They can ask us some questions.
No, I can talk.
If you want to talk.
Take that down. I'm not a male model. I will be. Give me 6 more months.
Dude, don't. 6 more months. You need maybe, let's give it 12. I'm joking. Give it about 1. Hey, I'm joking. All right, let me grab this brewski real quick.
Take that comment down so I can focus here.
Where's that? It's a ways up. I got Dale on. I'm not used to this. There's comments. I gotta go way up here. I wanted you to focus on that. Get your confidence up, Dale. You're a pretty confident guy.
But you already run it.
Yeah, just keep boosting that ego. I had to knock you down a notch, brother.
I said give me 6 months. You said 12. It's so rude.
Well, I was just. Anyways,
go get you a beer.
12 weeks.
Go get you a beer, and when you get back, I'll check on my dog. So, anyways, you guys see an AJ Green jersey back there. Yeah. I guess I'll show my face. Yeah. Muma Zhong Meta. Hell of a name. Hell of a story. So, like, his parents were... this is all on Dan Hort's podcast. Listen to that. Don't listen to my secondhand retelling of it. But, you know, they were from a country, maybe war-torn. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making that up. But they immigrated to the United States. His dad has a doctorate in like 18 degrees. His mom also has 18 degrees. 18 is probably exaggerating, but close enough. And he wasn't even going to play football. Like, he seen some guy with a Letterman jacket, so he decided to play football. He's like, well, that guy seems cool. I want to do that. But his parents like, if you get a C in this class, you're not playing football. A C. I call C pretty cool. Like if you get a C, that's pretty cool. Has anyone got a question? Because I'm just throwing shit out there at this point. What time even is it? Oh, it's 10:40. Yeah, it's early. Shit. He brought 2 beers. I'm out of beer. I'm out of beer. I've got Powerade.
Dude, if you're here, I'd share with you, man. I'd share.
Yeah, you brought me one. You brought you one.
Yep, it's courteous. I'm a courteous guy. So Jean Meta didn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're gonna ask me what I just talked about,
is that what you talked about?
No, I have no clue what I just talked about. I have no idea.
That's fine, dude.
I was locked in until you put me alone, and then it's just like I just said stuff. Your show's probably canceled, honestly.
Yeah, that's probably what I'll say. I don't think I have enough people for my show to be canceled. I think you have to have a certain amount.
You got to get big enough to be canceled. Shit.
Yeah, I'm not big enough. I'm not big enough. Get me big enough and get me canceled. That's kind of the goal.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
Yeah, that'd be great. Give me.
I want to get big enough to be canceled.
That would be fine. And I'll just start a new one, which is cool because I'll just talk to me and my friends like I do any other time. Dude, Meta, I'm glad he made the team. I like that guy.
He earned it.
Yeah, he was just a dog. He was out grinding. I liked it. Did you see the video where he was getting a massage when they called him? He's like, "Oh, I'm getting."
I haven't watched a full video. Well, it was part of the Bengals thing, right? That they released yesterday. And I think I watched the first 5 minutes. I know there was a clip before that, but I wanted to watch the whole thing, and then I was like, I'm watching this Colorado game. Like, I get distracted, and I just can't concentrate on one thing.
Are you watching the Ohio State game today or tomorrow? Well, almost today.
Well, you got to bring that up.
You watching it, brother?
Land on it, but then I have Parker on at 4, and the game starts at 3:30, and I was like, damn it, I screwed myself on this one.
Dude, I think I'll be.
I will watch it at some point.
I took myself a side job, so I'm gonna be working on a side job and probably miss a decent little portion of it. So that's upsetting, but whatever. It's fine. As long as it's not a Bengals game, it doesn't matter. Bengals games, I'll be at work and there's always people, I swear, because my schedule's crazy as hell. So people be like, "Oh, Sergeant Langley, did you see like this?" Oh, shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. Don't tell me nothing about this game. Like, just don't do it, because I'll have a recording, and when I get home, I'll watch it and I'll be fresh. I won't look at my phone. I swear to you, I would not look at my phone all day on Sunday at whatever time 1:00 starts. I would not look at my phone unless I get a text message. I'll look at my phone if somebody's texting me, calling.
Sorry.
Or if I get a picture from Dale, I'll be like, okay, what's this? I'm like, okay, that's the normal Sunday message I get about 12:30. So I'm used to that.
Ball sack.
Yeah,
it's a pregame ball sack.
Yeah, it's good luck. It worked. It worked all 2021.
I don't know what everybody else is thinking, but I was talking about a sack of footballs.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Either way, whatever happened to oh my goodness, what am I thinking? Jake Browning. What he's ready now, right? Like, he's healthy.
I assume he was at the practice the other day after the 53 was announced, and we saw Logan Woodside also there, and we're like, oh, he made the practice squad. For me personally, I was like, he should upgrade the practice squad position. I didn't see enough out of him. There's nothing to develop. No hate on the guy. Like, good for him even being around this long. But even I'd bring AJ McCarron back. I said last week. Like,
bring AJ McCarron back.
AJ McCarron, practice squad quarterback.
Bring him back, dude. He's better. He's better than Logan Woodside. He is, for a fact. He's better. Bring him back. I want him back.
Industries, you're acting like Pork Chop right now. You're acting just like Pork Chop. As long as Browning's girlfriend is ready, it's okay. Pork Chop says she got them tig old bitties, and it makes him very happy. And I just say I have no comment on that. I have no comment.
I will say, good for Jake Browning, man. And Jake Browning's cool. He's a cool dude.
I don't have a comment, but if I had a comment, it'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
But I don't have one. Just for the record. For the record, Marissa, I didn't say nothing about them tickle bitties. I want to be able to come in the house tonight. I don't want to sleep in this garage. It's very hot outside.
It's toasty, brother. You gotta watch yourself. Don't want to be in the doghouse or the garage house, whatever you want to call it. Just in case. But no, Jake Browning, man, he is. I'm glad to have him as our second string quarterback. If Joe, for God forbid, knock on wood, whatever reason he's missed
time. I would say a series. He needs a series. Like, oh man, I gotta go hydrate. I gotta cramp. Like Ocho Cinco had too much McDonald's, which we all know, Joe. Joe ain't no damn McDonald's. But let's just say Ocho Cinco gave him breakfast and he had too much McDonald's and he's got a cramp before halftime. In one series, Jake Browning had to go out there. I feel good about that.
I do. I feel good. That's it. I do feel good about Jake. I do like the way
good about your girlfriend / wife / fiance / whatever. He ain't saying she got tickle bitties, but he say she wears nice outfits and he would like to add that to the chop shop.
Hey, she represented well. She represented for Who Dey Nation well. But
I'm not saying Dusty said that.
I was just saying she seemed like a fan. I liked it. I
was saying that for a pork chop. I didn't say that as a bleep out name guy. Pork chop said that.
Maybe I shouldn't speak for Who Dey Nation. That might have been selfish of me to speak for everyone. But anyways, Jake, I liked how we ran the offense for him. How it seemed, it just seemed like we tailored to his strength. There was more play action, right? Like it just seemed like we played Jake's strength, and I would like to see. I would really like to see us use more like, I'm not saying just RPO, but like RPO play action, make the defense more than Joe dropping back for historic records of throwing the ball, where it's like, okay, it's the Bengals, they're a throwing team, they're throwing the ball, make teams think and keep them off balance, right? Like that, if the defense doesn't know what you're going to do, it makes it a better percentage for the offense to gain yards. That's the whole goal of football.
And that's why a lot of, the screens work till they didn't work. And it's almost like, oh, we're doing too many screens. But it's also like, oh, Chase Brown is that dude. And Joe was in there for some of that too. But that's why I'm very confident in Chase Brown. Come on now, y'all being horny. Stop being horny. Y'all being too
Ross
horny.
and Lewis, they're always in here being crazy, bro. I love those guys.
I am gonna hop off here. We're an hour in. I just snuck away. Didn't even say I was doing this show. But man, I appreciate your service, and I appreciate you as a person and a human being. You're a great dude. That's why I never hesitate to hop on if I can. I support everything Bengals Army because I know not just you, but the two guys you do this show with, all military veterans, all about the right stuff. And like, I know I drink and have fun and this, that, and the other, but real talk, you guys are good dudes. You're Bengals fans like everybody else, but you're dudes that have served and still do serve this country. So, man, shout out to everything you're doing. And I really appreciate you, brother. Man to man.
Well, I appreciate that, Dale. So I will say that Dale was probably the biggest reason I got into podcasting. Like, and I know we don't do it, near as much as these guys do. Bengals&Brews, amazing show, the dedication that they have. 3 days a week.
It's pretty mid, to be fair. But good, continue.
To do it on the basis that you guys do constantly is unreal. And for real, I don't want to get too sentimental, but Dale knows I've talked to him. We had some really big heart to hearts.
Real talks, real talks, yeah.
Real friends. So when I there's only a few people I call brother, and Dale's definitely my brother. I love this dude. If you're watching my show, more likely you're watching my show because of Dale, and so I appreciate everybody for that. And definitely Dale, amazing dude. I appreciate you. I cannot thank you enough for at least let me on Bengals and Brews and talk football. But the time of my life that you came into me, I say it probably if you go back through every episode that we've ever had together, when you came in and we became buddies, that was meaningful and it'll never be forgotten ever. Yeah. So I thank you. And I literally text Dale at 9:00 and asked him if he wanted to do a show because I was bored. And he said, yeah, I'll do a show. And I said, okay, 9:30, because I was getting ready to go fish with another friend for just 20 minutes. We got a pond at our house, so we're gonna just toss the line in a couple times. And Dale said, yep, dude, I'm free. But yeah, I appreciate you, man.
Bro, I appreciate you, and I appreciate anybody watching. And I don't think anybody watches because of me. I think people respect what you've done for this country, and I think a lot of people like just respect real fans being real fans, and they come on here and they talk and they have fun. And there's no agenda. There's no, like we ain't trying to get nothing out of the Bengals. We ain't trying to do none of this. Like we're just real people. And yeah, man, I definitely, without going into it, because we ain't gonna do that now. Maybe we will at one point on a late night show, but we needed each other on some late night talks on some things that we were going through, and yeah, I'll never forget that, man. That's why I always got your back, brother.
I appreciate it, buddy. It meant a lot to me, and it still does. It always will. And
same.
Yeah, I love you. And I appreciate you. Your show is definitely what it is because the work and dedication you've put into it. People trust your opinion. They like your opinion, and it shows. You've got.
I won't change. I'm too stupid to change.
And you don't need to change. You are you, and that's what people love, is that you can get on and listen to your show and laugh. And comedy is the cure to most things. When you start laughing, you feel good, and that don't ever change, because it was amazing. It was what I needed, and I'm sure there's a bunch of people that
shout out that. Clark Harris.
Yeah, it was Clark.
It was Clark Harris, still the man to this day. He's under the Bengals and Brews, got that autograph shit, and that's crazy. Shout out Bengals and Bourbon.
Yeah, that big fifth of whiskey.
Thank you for having me on, and thank you for anybody that tuned in to us. Just, I don't know, we just talk football. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Oh, and if you're listening, and when you guys do listen, if you're not listening live, make sure to tune in to Bengals and Brews. Follow Bengals and Brews on Twitter.
Bengals Army, baby.
And yeah, make sure you give us a follow and a listen. We're definitely not as frequent as other podcasts. But when we do get on,
it's almost like you have a military schedule where like you work when they tell you to.
Yeah, it's a little off canter, so it gets a little crazy. But when we do go live, make sure to give us a listen. And you never know who's going to drop in. It could be Dale. We could do a late night show and bullshit and have a lot of fun and drink some beers and completely go off topic. Or we might do what we did today and didn't go off topic. We did good today, bro. Like, for real. I felt like we did well.
We did the best we could. I will say that. I feel confident that we did the best we could at this current moment.
I gave it my all. 100%.
I gave everything I had.
I know.
And I'm about to give well, that would sound weird. I was gonna say I'm gonna check on my dog the best. I have to pee. I'm gonna go pee the best I can. Because if I said I'm gonna go check on my dog the best, that would just that would not. Nope. All right, that's a good way to end it. Hey, Dusty, thank you for having me. I appreciate you, brother. Hooday, everybody that tuned in. I love you all. Man, football, baby. We got it next Sunday. We got first game of the season. I'm pumped.
It's gonna be there. All right. I'll see you, Dale. Thanks for joining me, buddy.
See you, bro.
All right. Yeah, thanks to Dale. Man, we always have a good time. Chris and Tony will be joining me again. Like I said, our schedules are a little crazy, but Chris and Tony definitely they do a little better at keeping things on track than I do. I get a little sidetracked and whatnot, but it's okay. We'll keep doing our best, and when you guys can join us, you join us, and we definitely appreciate it. And like I said, Bengals and Brews, give them a follow if you're not already following them. They're on Twitter, YouTube, and I know they're on Spotify. That's where I listen to them on. So give them a listen. Give us a listen on YouTube. We got Spotify. Chris is the one who always has everything on Spotify, and Chris does a great job behind the scenes. And so, yeah, we appreciate you guys, and Hoo Day, guys.